On today's video, part 3 of our Zone 5 take in Heroic Anthem 523. As New Year's Eve rolls by, a small crew of squad members sacrifice their New Year's Eve to stay up all night and hold for dear life as two alliances try to take down our flag and push us back, but meet the wall. In this video, we're also going to talk a little bit about strategy and how we got to the point where we managed to push back 3 kingdoms. So sit back, slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. We just wrapped up a insane first altar in Lost Kingdom 523. It was nuts. It was nuts. I can't believe it ended up the way it did. Carded up on the top right. If you want to see that, you don't want to miss that out. It was absolutely nuts. 401 against 3 kingdoms. Shout out to 401. You guys are crazy. Let's talk about that for a second before we get into this topic, because we're gonna mix it up in this video with some strategy, and it's important to let you guys know of a few mechanics we've been using. We use them a lot in the altar now, and so I want to go over them really quickly. When it comes to the way strategy works in squad, there are a few people who are the decision makers when it comes to war, but my understanding is the primary decision maker is Easy company. And on top of that, of course, Death Squad, whenever Easy's not around, makes some calls, Cam and all these guys. But when Easy is around, he's in charge. That's from my understanding. Now, there's something really crazy about this guy, because we, at this stage, as you remember from the second video of this series, carded up on the top right, we got to a point where we got pushed back all the way and we only had a fort in the middle of the map. Now, in the beginning of our push in that last video where we zeroed a bunch of people, Easy wasn't around, but Death Squad was. And Death Squad was quote-unquote in charge. We'll call it that just for the sake of it. And Death Squad's strategy, it tends to seem to be more like, let's go find a weak spot that we can explore and do a lot of damage to them. And that was that flag we burned and then zeroed a bunch of people. And then Easy got online. And as soon as he gets online, he's like, yo. And then Death Squad's like, okay, all right, Easy, let's do this. And you can literally feel Easy go meow, meow, scanning the map. You can feel the ray pass through you as he scans. And next thing you know, it's like, marker here, marker here, marker there, marker there. This is what we're doing. And I'm like, where's this man coming up with this stuff? And more than that, we got to go from this point to that point. Instead of going from here to here, he told us go this way, go that way, go this way, and then come here. And I'm like, why are we overcomplicating? But turns out that I guess he's a magician, because literally every single mechanic we employed, as much as some of them I hate, worked out insanely well. Going back to when we were open field fighting before the forts came in, he called a ball in the middle of the field. And I can't stand the ball. The stupid ball mechanic, I cannot, I've never been able to be useful in it. Every time I either don't have the right commanders, or I'm too far forward and get wrecked, or I'm a little bit too far forward and then I just take AoE for no reason, or I'm way too far in the back that I don't generate rage. I never managed to do anything in a ball. I hate it. But for the first time, I saw a ball that actually moves. A rolling ball. It's kind of crazy. So he calls a ball. And then he puts a marker like 2 kilometers forward, 2 steps up, and then everybody's like 2 up. And then he puts a marker to the left, 2 steps left, and everybody's like, and all of a sudden he's like, attack, and everybody's whoosh, and toast, everything goes to hell. It's like we take over everything, and it was unbelievable. Now, again, I can't stand the ball, but that's one of many mechanics. He calls for a rotation through a specific pattern, or he calls for defending a flag that is not the front flag, but it's a more important flag that we can allow one to burn in order. And the calls that he is making, that Death Squad's making, that I believe it was Cam that was making a few of them, were truly crazy. But they worked. Absolutely worked. And so I want to ask you guys, would you guys like to hear from Squad's leadership If you do, make sure you slap a like on this video. If we get an above average amount of likes, I'm going to try to talk to them and see if they'd be willing to come up on stream one day for like an hour talk, and to talk in general a little bit about squad, about how formulating plans, not to give out, of course, the playbook, but a little bit on potentially how they prepare for things, if at all. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they don't prepare at all, if they make the calls on the fly. Because who prepares for a situation in which the only thing you have left is a fortress in the middle of the zone surrounded by enemies, right? Who does that? And yet the plan was there and it worked. And it got us to this point right here. This was when we got to the stage where the two flags of two kingdoms were literally in front of ours, and they needed to burn our flag in order to get to to secure for themselves the sanctuary. There was our flags and another flag of 554, if I'm not mistaken, RX to the left of us, and those two flags were the only two flags that were touching the sanctuary for us, and they were wrapping around and hitting us. For them, it seemed easy. They were like, two kingdoms, one flag. Let's start sending one Atel at a time. And then they found out that there's a Zenobia Theodora. And they sent another Atel Takeda, said, maybe that was a fluke, got wrecked again. They sent another Atel Takeda, got wrecked again. And then they started sending double rallies and got wrecked again. Double Atel Takedas, don't work. Again and again and again and again. And then they started switching it up. Alex Herald's rallies, Guan YSG rallies, double rallies of all sorts of sorts in this video. You're going to get a ton of them, as well as all the reports, mostly. Because the thing is, while you're fighting and while you're focusing on that, it's really hard to remember to press the record button and to remember to look through the whole report and all the stats and all that. You're like, cool, next, let's get going. Let's switch it up. Let's go. And so the thing about this is, when this was going on, this was in theory supposed to be the end of the year. It was New Year's Eve. That's the bottom line. It was New Year's Eve. And it was getting close in a lot of these countries to New Year's Eve, right? To the New Year's celebrations, to midnight. And as time went on, people obviously, as regular human beings do, went to celebrate with their family, spend some time with their relatives, with the significant others, whatever it is. They're not going to sit play mobile games. But me, I'm in lockdown. And I'm alone. I got nothing to do. So I stayed up all night and played. And it was only me. It was a huge group of folks who stayed up all night and filled the flag like no one's business. We had the opportunity to rally significantly. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be able to rally with my archers anytime. And while some rallies were less good than others, some of them were really, really nice against Zenobia Theodora and Zenobia YSG and Zenobia's a few other along the way. But as night rolled, and some of the bigger players and a huge part of the players went to celebrate New Year's Eve, a small group of heroes stayed up all night. And now everybody, you can say that, oh, Zenobia is what saved us. It's not. Zenobia didn't save anything. Zenobia was just one of the many tools that were part of making this happen. What saved us really was all the people who sent endless marches to make sure the flag is always above 1,500, that it's always well secured, and that we're trading as positively as humanly possible. And that's the true heroes of this story. The guys who stayed up all night and just held the front while the rest were recuperating and came back into action as soon as they could, essentially. I mean, hell, some people went out, came back a little bit, under the had a couple of drinks for New Year's Eve and logged in to fight. But, you're a human being, you have family, you have friends, you have whatever it is. Of course you go out and celebrate New Year's Eve. We got to a point in which, at some point during the night, we got to not only rally flags, but also defend at the same time. And it was kind of nutty because, we were swapping skins, we were swapping equipment. It was crazy. And then very late at night, I all of a sudden notice there is a lion above my head. Now, for some of you, general is a day-to-day thing, but I was never someone who was given general. Never, ever have I been given general before. Maybe in 541 I got it once or twice, but this account was never general, ever. And all of a sudden, Yoshi just drops general on us, which is awesome. Like for you guys, it seems such a small thing, but for me, it was significant because it's a very important title, and as it came to be, a lot of the bigger players were not online at the time, and I ended up with it. It really helped us out. I could swap captains. I could do a bunch of different things. And to make matters even crazier, well, not crazier, well, just even cooler, at some point, Squad R4'd me so I can do what needs to be done, put markers and whatever the heck not. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank them, because I think that R4ing someone means that you trust them. I mean, an R4 can literally start kicking people out, and if the R5 is not there, I could have literally gotten people zeroed left and right that are asleep. It's a responsibility, and I was trusted with it, and it was really cool. At some point during the night, I was sitting there looking at Zenobia taking hits and putting down markers and changing people's titles. It was just crazy. It was such a good time. That VOD is available on the channel if you want to see it, as well as, of course, the altar fight that happened in the other 2 videos are all in the channel from this series. But as we continue rallying their Zenobia, we need to start talking about what came next. Because this all-nighter just kept going crazier and crazier. When they realized the single rallies were not doing the trick, they started double rallying. It started with a double Tel Takeda. And then it went to a Guan Herald. And then it went to an Alex Herald with an Atal Takeda secondary. All of the marches that I'm going to say right now are with an Atal Takeda secondary. And then it went for a Ramses YSG. And then they went for a Chandragupta William. You're going to see all of those and so much more, including some of the reports. They literally threw the whole kitchen sink at us. Every single pair of rally commanders they had hit us at some point in time. But the heroes of Squad managed to keep the flag full the whole time and allow Zenobia to put the damage in. And it was just like this. We rally with huge success, and we defend with huge success. All night long, positive trades for us. Even though the power differential might not be that big, keep your eyes on the deads on each side, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about, because at the end of the day, severely wounded get healed, but deads are gone. So you always want to keep your eye on the deads when talking about trades. And so, while we're trying to help clear the field out and rally at the same time, with a AoE on the flag that we gotta be careful not to get into, things got just completely out of control. And I'll tell you this, I cannot believe we held. Let alone that we didn't burn. I would have expected us to burn a couple times and be able to extinguish and hold and all that good stuff. Not once did we burn. Rallies were sent out again and again and again and again non-stop. Why not? This is one thing I want to encourage all of you to do. If you have a good pair of commanders for rallies, even if you're not the top dog, even if you don't have the best equipment out there, don't shy away from rallying a target. Yeah, you might cause a little bit worse trades, but taking initiative to rally stuff to show that you're committed to the fight means a lot more than losing your team another 50,000 T5s combined among all the people that came into the rally. And so I never shied away from rallying if I could. And of course, if I was told, listen, cancel this rally, this guy has a better rally, insta cancel, right? But nobody did. Nobody told me. They're very cool with it, and they allowed it to be. And I mean, again, I was really thankful for the awesome time. As you can see, some of our trades weren't that positive. Some of our trades weren't that positive, especially when they switched that Zenobia out, knowing that we're sending archers. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun, and the damage was done. But the damage was more done by this dude right here, unnamed soldier, aka R2D2. I thought that was a C. R2D2. Look at those exchanges. That's almost a 4-to-1 dead ratio. That's nuts. Forget about the fact that Tao Pelagius, I mean, without any support skills, are definitely not going to be what you want to do. But hey, this man's Atal Takeda is so strong that it punished severely. And it wasn't only him. Of course, we got to show you a report from Death Squad, because, you know, Death Squad, his name is it tells the story, right? He also, no care in the world, 2.1, trades all over the place. And that was not the garrison, by the way. He wasn't hitting a Constance Matilda. There was a proper garrison before that. And this is a weird, like, bug thing, but there was a different garrison there before that. And I mean, again, these guys rallied until they had to leave. And when they came back, they kept rallying like nothing happened. And the crazy thing is, while all this was going down, some of the kingdoms that were against us started feeling too comfortable and put themselves in territories that weren't their alliances. Look at that. And as a result, as soon as our big boys started coming online, they smelled the blood and they pounced. And they pounced big time. Cities getting zeroed, flags getting burned all over the place. But our opposition wasn't even paying attention to that. Our opposition was so focused on trying to take out that one flag of ours that's holding two of their kingdoms back that they didn't even realize that around them we were going nuts. This is another attempt on a rally with a swarm this time. Probably not a good idea, as you'll see. But I feel like this, again, having to go back into strategy for a second, this has to do a lot with the strategy of squad. I kind of feel like when leadership is online, when the war leadership is online, it's kind of like when it's your turn in chess. They move the piece to make sure that the board is in a good placement, and then they click the clock and they sit there. And they just let the enemy try to break their check. It every single time felt like whenever, we'll call it easy, would take a break or disappear for something, it would be like, literally like in chess, he would be like, and just sit. And he can go, because the people who were left there were the board of chess, and we were in check, and the other team just didn't know what to do. And then they figured out how to get out of the check, and by that time, easy or death squad or anger, when it came to our altar today, made a move on the board, and the enemy had to react. It's truly astounding. I don't know if this is a common thing in big kingdoms, because this is my first like huge kingdom with multiple alliances that isn't JWM, which was one massive alliance. And so I don't know if this is how it works on the big kingdoms. I don't know if this is like, if I was just completely in the dark on things or not. But the matter of the fact is, there is one important thing that differentiates between a top tier kingdom and not a top tier kingdom. And that is not power. It's the ability to adapt your strategy on the run. And I see it on Arc. I see it in Altar. I see it in the field. And the way I see it very simple. The people trust their leadership. I trust Death Squad. I trust Easy. Easy tells me expertise this commander. I do. I don't even ask questions. Easy tells me go here. Okay? I trust the man. I trust Death Squad when he says, listen, we need this kind of reinforcement. We need to join this. We need to attack that. And it seems like the whole alliance trusts them, even when they fail. Because we failed. We got pushed back. But when they came back onto the board with a new idea, the whole alliance backed up their leadership. And that is very, 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 very rare. In the vast majority of cases, when things go south, people start questioning leadership and there starts being blame shifting and arguments and all that. In here, I didn't see a single one of those. All I saw was people who waited for instructions for the new plan and just beat the hell out of the plan. And if the plan failed, they said, well, DS, Easy, Anger, Cam, what's next? What are we doing? And they're like, hold on a second. They tell each other, let's go to this other voice room. And you hear, put-um, 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 put-um. They're getting out of the leadership, the chat, going into leadership chat. And we're just standby, just making sure everything's okay. 5 minutes later, they come in, marker. Let's go. Let's do this. Unbelievable stuff. Really, 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 really crazy. And I've never experienced it. I can tell you that when I was in 541, we had a great leadership, but the second that we started being on our back foot from the get-go, a lot of people started questioning that leadership, and then everything went to hell. It got to the point in here where they got so desperate, they started sending, as I mentioned, the whole kitchen sink at us. This is a Alex Harold with an Intel Takeda. Coming next, I believe, is a Chandra Gupta Intel Takeda. And they couldn't break the flag. Not only because of Zenobia. Zenobia had a part in it, sure. But again, because of all the people filling the flag consistently. I even got to a point where I ran out of T4 infantry, and my T5 infantry was starting to get low, and so I had to conserve infantry and only have the one march in order to be able to continually hold. And as night turned day and day turned night, they didn't break us. And there is a moment in that VOD, if you go watch it, you'll see, where they just straight up give up. They send up a double rally, the double rally just doesn't work, and they just give up. And when they did, we just pushed them, just like that. What you're watching right here was, at some point during the night, we started a little bit getting worried about our infantry counts. As we are a limited amount of folks, we said, you know what, let's try to throw like an archer garrison. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. This is also while we're rallying with archers, by the way, because we're running out of cabs. So if you can rally with archers, why not? Try it. If there's a Zenobia on the flag, archer rally means we're conserving the Intel Takedas for something else. But this garrison was horrendous. I think that there's one report out of the three, I think, that is positive. I'm going to show it to you guys in a sec. But the other two, horrendous. Like, we took a 1 to 2 kind of thing. Like, for every one of theirs we killed, they killed 2 plus of ours. It was nasty. And then we're like, yeah, bring the infantry. We got to bring the infantry. Because that kind of a trade, we can sustain 1, 2, 3 of them. But after that, no longer. And we tried a couple things. We tried Artemisia YSG. We tried Artemisia Theodora. It's definitely, the Archer garrison meta is definitely not there anymore. I would assume it's meant primarily because of Crystal's researches, but whatever. What else can be said? This was absolutely astounding. I appreciate every single one who was part of this. Shout out to Squad, shout out to 401, shout out to leadership, and shout out to all of you who never gave up. Shout out to all of you who got pushed back and had the mental fortitude to push back in. That's how you win KVKs. That's how you win Ark of Osiris matches. That's how you differentiate between a strong team and a weak team. And the most important thing is the trust in your leadership. And even though, again, some of the mechanics we used and some of the calls we made seem to be, for me personally, overcomplicated and stupid ball. I hate the ball. But it worked. And it worked absolutely well. And it worked incredibly well. And the overcomplication was not overcomplication. It was micromanagement to such a great degree that it worked like a charm. I hope to be able to show you guys in Zone 7 a little bit of the marker work. Although, while we're fighting, I try not to show too many markers because I don't want people to catch on to things. That's why I keep my ear on the Discord and listen to the calls in there rather than look on the map. But on the Ultra fight, you'll definitely see it. Place a marker, go this way. Don't go right, go left. When you go left, then go down and then up. Don't go left, then down, down. And you see the markers. And it's literally like, it was crazy. We balled in the open field in here. And then Easy goes 2 steps forward. And like, and this is not in a disrespectful manner, like a sheep, like a herd. We're like, bam, moving forward together. And then all of a sudden, that bam became like, and we just destroyed. It was crazy. And so, as you can see, Chandragupta, William, didn't work. They gave up. They fell back. They couldn't break the rally. It got to the point where they went to swarm another flag somewhere else. I teleported there. As soon as Zenobia got to the flag, they canceled the rally and teleported to a third flag. I went to the third flag, put Zenobia in, they canceled, and they were done. They're like, anywhere that Zenobia goes, we don't want to rally it. It doesn't make any sense. And what they didn't realize is that Zenobia wasn't the thing. Zenobia was one of the things. The thing was 401 and more specifically in this specific scenario was squad. Not giving up for a moment. Up on the top, TN and LIIG, wrecking. Absolute wreckage. And overall, it was a fantastic Zone 5. Next week, we're going to talk about 254 against 331. We have a bunch of content coming up regarding war, strategy. Again, if you guys want me to try to talk leadership into maybe doing a little bit of a talk about how the kingdom is run or how the alliance is run, how they plan wars, if they plan them at all, make sure you're slapping a like on the video. And of course, you're subscribed to the channel. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. I appreciate every single one of you. Drop a like again, subscribe. Who's supporting this channel. Even after our announcement yesterday, I will keep doing videos no matter what, because this is what I want to do. And I love to have you guys enjoying the content we make. And yeah, I'll see you all sooner rather than later. Have a good one and take care. Peace.